गंगाधर गिरिधारी शिशि राधा विनोद बिहारी जू की जाय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जू की जाय। नित्यानंद प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शतर शत शिमार भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जय। नित्यानंद प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शतर शत शिमार भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यानंद प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शतर शत शिमार भक्ति वेदांत साई महाराज श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यानंद प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शतर शत शिमार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यानंद प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शतर शत शिमार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यानंद प्रविष्ट महाभागवत श्री गौर किशोरदास बाबूजी महाराज की जय। नित्यानंद प्रविष्ट श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्यानंद प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबूजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानु गौरिया गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शार गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नाम चय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौरमंडल ब्रजमंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री यमुना देवी गंग देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। जय श्री दैनिक नादिया प्रकाश की जय। The the head editor of it and writer and everything, Srila Bhakti Puri Gosai Maharaj ki jai. Jai. All the associates of Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All the periodicals of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada and all of his followers ki jai. Jai Shri Harinama Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shinitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Hari Bo. All right, so before we begin, let's do a short Mangala Charan. Let me just share it, my screen. अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकायै तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। श्रीसिद्धान्तसरस्वतीति विदितो कोडीय गौर्वन्वये भातो भानुरिव प्रभात गगने योगोरसंकीर्तनाय मायावारतिमिङ्गिलो दरगतान् उद्धृत्य जीवनिमान् कृष्णप्रेमसुधाब्धिगाहनसुखं प्रादात् प्रभुं तं भजे। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टां स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। भक्त्या विहीना अपराधलक्षाय क्षिप्ताष्टकामादितरङ्गमध्ये कृपामयि त्वां शरणं प्रपन्ना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम्। भज श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, everybody. Dandavat pranams. I hope you all had a wonderful Rath Yatra festival. And welcome to our 13th Dainik Nadīyā Prakāśa session. This is the daily magazine of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada under the editorship of Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, who at that time was Shri Pranavananda Brahmachari. So yeah, I guess we can just begin. This issue was from March 22nd, 1928. Is it, Śrīvāsa?
Oh yeah, I didn't put it on this one. I hope you're right.
I just looked at the last time. It was March 21st, and so I think this one's March 22nd. And so yeah. Oh, and I need to give Śrīvāsa access to that.
You remembered.
Yeah, should remember at the beginning though, but okay. I'm handing it over to you, Śrīvāsa. There. Okay.
All right. Shri Shri Guru Gaurango Jayataha. 10th Caitra, Friday, 1334, March 22nd, 1928. So the first article is Poḍā Mā. Poḍā Mā is referred to in common language as Poḍā Mā. She is Bhagavan's Swarup Shakti, so she is non-different from him. Those who accept Bhagavan but do not believe in Poḍā Mā or Poḍā Mā are like those who accept the existence of the sun but do not want to accept the existence of its rays. Their conception is incomplete. In Vrindavan, this Poḍā Mā is Purnamasi or Yogamaya. This Yogamaya Devi is the main aid in Krishna's pastimes. Yogamaya is always trying to arrange the meeting of Radha and Krishna. All of Krishna's pastimes, stemming from his Aishwarya, Madhurya, or Audarya, are all present within Yogamaya. The Vaishnavas engage in Krishna's service under the guidance of Yogamaya. They are surrendered one-pointedly at the lotus feet of Yogamaya, with the intention of serving Krishna. This is why the Vaishnavas can be called the real Shaktas. In Gautamiya Tantra, this Yogamaya has been praised as the presiding deity of Vaishnava mantras. She, who is Yogamaya in the Vrindavan pastimes, is Poḍā Mā or Poḍā Mā in Gauda Lila. Jada Maya, inert Maya, is the shadow of this Poḍā Mā. Her job is to bewilder living entities who are averse to Krishna and punish them. The only role of Yogamaya or Poḍā Mā is to instill the bliss of service into jivas who are inclined to serve Krishna. If we deliberate on this tattva, we will come to know that those who are real Shaktas are real Vaishnavas, and those who are real Vaishnavas are Shaktas. Those who pride themselves to be Shaktas but are devoid of Vaishnava conduct and opposed to Bhagavan, and those who pride themselves to be Vaishnavas but are antagonistic to Poḍā Mā or Yogamaya, are both deluded by Jaramaya. Some people say Yogamaya or Poḍā Mā is Poḍā Mā or the burnt mother, because Pura in Bengali means burnt. But really, she is the Praudha. Praudha means senior or elderly mother. Just as the material world is the transformation of Bhagavan's Jara Shakti, inert material energy, then the Sri Dham is likewise a transformation of spiritual energy, Yogamaya. That is why Sri Yogamaya is called the Adhishtatri Devi, presiding goddess of Sri Dham or Vrindavan. Like Yogamaya, Poḍā Mā is the presiding goddess of Sri Navadip Dham. Naham prakāṣah sarvatra Yogamaya samavrita. According to this statement of Gita, without the mercy of Poḍā Mā, the jiva will not have the fortune of beholding the true form of Navadvip. Sri Devi, at the time of Sriman Mahaprabhu's appearance, was in Antardip Sri Mayapur. This is referring to the deity of Poḍā Mā. She was first in Antardvip Mayapur. After the conclusion of Sri Mahaprabhu's pastimes, by the will of Bhagavan, the Ganga flooded the whole island. So the inhabitants of Antardvip went to Kulia, Navadvip, and Ramchandrapur. At that time, they took Poḍā Mā with them and established her near their new place of residence. Since then, Śrī Maya Devi has been situated on the western side of the Ganga. That place is now known as Poḍā Mā Tala. So this Maya Devi was first in Mayapur. It is her, Mayapur is her land.
Oh, so that's the origin of the name Mayapur. It's named after.
Yeah, the other one that we read the other day was also that because like when the old kings, the Sena kings first established, before Mahaprabhu, when they established their capital of Gaurapur, they moved it from the north down to the south. They established it, it was a new island. The Ganga had moved, changed course, and revealed this new island. And so it was Mai, it was Ganga Mai. It was, composed of Ganga Devi, and Ganga Devi is not different from Narayan, from Yoga Maya, so Mayapur. Okay. Love of one's nation, Swadesh Priti in the Bengali. From reading history, we come to know that Hindus were once the sovereign emperors of the whole earth. From Satya Yuga till the present age, their domain has gradually shrunk and at present completely disappeared. The strength of dharma that had made the Hindus strong and capable of defending their kingdom is something they no longer have. Though Hindus have gradually lost control of all their lands, the region of Bengal was not too long ago still in the hands of Hindus. The kings of the Sena and Shura dynasties ruled over this Bengal region for a long time. This ancient Navadvip Mayapur was their capital. So it's kind of implying that Mayapur was the last true Hindu capital of the world. Interesting that Mahaprabhu would choose to then appear there. Even now, there are the ancient ruins, etc., of the Balal Palace in Balal Digi. It was at the time, I think it's actually near Balal Digi, because the Digi is a lake. It was at the time of the Sena Vangsha king, Lakshman Sen, that the Lakshmi of Bangladesh's Bengali fortune, the Bengal's fortune, the Lakshmi of Bengal disappeared. The Lakshmi of kingdoms is forever restless like this. She never stays in one place. We do not need to tell anyone this, but we mention it anyways because, well, God forbid we moisturize our nose and go to sleep. There's a Bengali saying that if you're really comfortable and happy with life, you have time to put a little bit of ghee in your nose before bed and go to bed all nice. So lest we get too comfortable with any political regime. No one can say that they will not do anything at all for their country. Even if they do say such a thing, it is not acceptable. Even if Brahma came and reassured us that it was okay to neglect our country, we could not put our conviction in his words. Why? It is hard to answer this with a single statement. But if we contemplate this, we see that love is the natural function of a vastu. There are two kinds of vastu, conscious and unconscious. The jiva and Bhagavan are conscious vastus, and everything else is unconscious. That dharma by which a vastu is naturally attracted is called love. This sort of attraction is not seen between inert objects. It is the inherent dharma of the conscious vastu, or jiva, to be attracted to other conscious beings. And he who attracts all these conscious beings is Bhagavan. Another name for attraction to Bhagavan is Bhagavad Bhakti, or Prema. In the liberated stage, this Priti Dharma is in its immaculate state, but in the embondaged condition, it becomes confined by time, place, and circumstance, and enters a state of contraction. In a very contracted state, it is focused just on our own bodies. At that point, we want nothing but the happiness of our own bodies. This kind of body-focused love is present even among animals, birds, insects, worms, etc. When this love starts to blossom somewhat, it becomes focused on the living entities who are our family. When it blossoms a little more, it expands its focus to people of one's own class or community. And as it blossoms more, it gradually expands its focus to one's nation and eventually all of humanity. When it becomes fully blossomed, it encompasses love for all beings, all living beings. This is as far as it can blossom while still technically in the contracted category. The eternal nature of a thing will surely in time show its true form. But as long as our love is not offered toward Bhagavan, that entity who encompasses all consciousness, then it is incapable of fully conveying its true presentation. The more contracted a person's love is, the more in bondage they are. And the more expansive or blossomed a person's priti dharma or love function is, the more liberated he is. Now the answer is this. Though love for one's nation represents a contracted state of the living entity's constitutional nature, the living entity cannot live without it. The most worthwhile effort we can make that is beneficial in all ways is to strive in such a way that gradually our love increases to the point we feel it for all beings and can offer it to Bhagavan. We will seek the well-being of our countrymen, but the most magnanimous and exalted effort we can make is that by which their ultimate superlative auspiciousness can be attained. 2 hour Nir and Dir. In Bengali, it was the Atmiya Ganer Prati. Scripture says, a person who wears tulsi beads around his neck and the symbols of conch shell, disc, etc. on his limbs, and who adorns his forehead with upward-pointing tilak, is a Vaishnava. The exalted personalities of bygone ages have sung the glories of these sorts of Vaishnavas as follows. Gangar parashahele paschate pavan darshana pavitra kara karena eitomar gun, eitar gun. Okay, this was changed a little bit from the original. If we are to determine who a Vaishnava is, are we supposed to just look at these external signs? Suppose someone outwardly and deceitfully bears these distinguishing marks very nicely, but lives a wild, immoral life. Is he also a world-purifying Vaishnava? No, he is not. Neither immorality and poor conduct, nor moral good behavior is symptomatic of a Vaishnava. The aforementioned statement of Scripture addresses the external markers of a Vaishnava. Besides these, there is an inner characteristic of a Vaishnava. It is this. Asat Sanga Tyag e Vaishnava Achar. Śrī Sangi ek asadhu Krishna abhakta ar. So to give up Asat Sanga, bad association, is the conduct of a Vaishnava. And then who is or what constitutes Asat Sanga? One is Śrī Sangi, one who is overly attached to the company of the opposite sex, is one sort of asadhu, unsaintly person. And Krishna abhakta ar, and the other kind is one who is not a devotee of Krishna. Though this statement is rather straightforward, its purport is tough to comprehend. Asat Sanga only refers to temporary objects. It is the principle of a Vaishnava to give up attachment to temporary objects. Neither external ritualism nor immorality is the constitutional conduct of a Vaishnava. So neither piety nor immorality. Though all acquirable objects in this world are false or temporary, the three main desirable objects are gold, women, and prestige. Though the aforementioned verse defining the conduct of a Vaishnava only mentions those attached to associating with women, the implication is that those persons are also attached to gold and prestige as well. Why? Because it is from illicit connection with women that these other two vices arise. A person who is attached to women needs money to satisfy his women. If he is to accumulate money, then he needs high birth or good social standing and affluence, fame, beauty, all these worldly expressions of prestige. If he does not have those things, it is not so easy to make money. Those who have no worldly prestige don Vaishnava garb and establish themselves in the world through that, fulfilling their motives thus. In this age of Kali, there is no shortage of examples of these kinds of people. Thakur Narottam has addressed them, saying, with the hope of acquiring wealth, they wander from door to door dressed as a Vaishnava or as Vaishnavas. It is difficult to recognize. Yeah, what is it? I was just thinking.
Artha lava e aship Prakata Vaishnava Vesha.
Yeah.
Kapata Vaishnava Vesha, yeah.
It is difficult to recognize them, as it is difficult to recognize a tiger in sheep's skin. The owls, bowls, daraveshas, prakrita sahajyas, sakibheki, and other iconoclasts of Vaishnava Varnashrama dharmas, right, fall into this category. Vaishnavas avoid their association for their own sake and strive diligently to help others, not to be charmed by their company. There is another class of people who are not of poor conduct, like the aforementioned type. These people lead moral lives and pride themselves as well-behaved people. They have very good conduct, chant a lot of Nam, like Vaishnavas, and are absorbed in the worship of Vishnu. Nevertheless, they are not devotees of Krishna. They are called karmis and gyanis. The Mahajans have directed statements like karmi gyani micha bhakta nahabe tate anurakta. Karmis and gyanis are insincere devotees. Micha bhakta. Do not become emotionally involved with them. Do not become attached to them. Sriman Mahaprabhu personally observed Vaishnava conduct in order to instruct the people of the world. During his household pastimes, when he would frolic in the bliss of kirtan at Śrīvāsa's house, no one except for the devotees would be allowed to come there. What to speak of immoral womanizers? Even those who thought themselves to be very moral and civilized were not allowed to enter. One day, one very pious ascetic who subsisted only on milk petitioned Śrīvāsa Pandit to allow him to witness Sriman Mahaprabhu dancing in kirtan, performing kirtan, etc. At first, Śrīvāsa Pandit refused, but then relented. Later, Sriman Mahaprabhu could tell that an outsider was present in his abode of kirtan delight, and said to Śrīvāsa, what qualification does he have to see my dancing? Does drinking just milk give a person bhakti for me? Saying this, he had the ascetic expelled from the kirtan mandir. Readers should bear in mind the following. Kanaka kamani pratishta bhagini chariyache jare seito Vaishnav. Vishaya mumukshu bhogera bhubukshu due teja mana dui avaishnava. One who has left the tigers of money, women, and prestige is a Vaishnava. Give up both the salvationist who wants respite from material objects and the materialist who hankers for indulgence. Neither are Vaishnavas. Now that's why this path is a razor's edge. It's the perfect balance. Neither enjoyment nor renunciation. Firm resolve. Dridhata in Bengali. Ahmedabad newspapers report Mahatma Gandhi as saying, I have not given up hope, and thereby conveying his resolve regarding independence in front of everyone and reassuring his friends. He has not only granted them reassurance, but has become enthusiastic about keeping his promise. At present, he has proposed a trip to Europe. He has deep love for his country and is firmly avowed in achieving what is best for his countrymen. Giving up one's own interests for the sake of one's country is undoubtedly very praiseworthy. Of all the virtues of man, fortitude of resolve is chief. Before trying one's hand at anything, one must vow to do or die. Otherwise, one cannot achieve anything. What did the sages of yore not accomplish with this sort of firm resolve? They achieved more than gaining their own independent nation. They achieved the supreme bliss of obtaining Bhagavan. If one finds God, what else remains to be had? You need firm resolve. Generally speaking, all the countless living entities are roaming the vast world for two types of purposes. One consists of economic endeavors. The other is spiritual in nature, artha and paramartha. The economic endeavors of man are superior to the primal instincts of animals. Spiritual endeavors, however, are entirely superior to economic endeavors. Both types of endeavor require firm resolve. If our resolve can be offered to God, then in a very short time, we will attain our objective and reap supreme bliss. Readers, just remember the tale of that 5-year-old boy, Dhruva. That too is a tale of our nation. So they're not discouraging people from the independence movement, but they're saying, okay, be like Dhruva. You know, worship Bhagavan for your kingdom. A review, quoted and translated from the English and now translated back into English. A review of the Harmonist magazine.
Did you look at the original Harmonist? Oops.
No, because this was from Lakpati Sporting News, which I could not find a copy of.
Okay, that's so funny.
A review of the Harmonist magazine, written in the January 1st, 1928 issue of the widely circulated and India famous bi-monthly magazine called Lakpati Sporting News, based out of Bombay. Shaivas and Vaishnavas, both types of Hindus, were standing around idly like observers for many years, watching the disruptive religious propaganda of Western Christian missionaries from England, Germany, America, and other countries. Hindus had become so bewildered at the sight of the tenacity and organization of foreign religions that they did not know what to do. They could not figure out how to stand in opposition of that current. They thought of themselves as a helpless, inferior race, and thought they had no capacity to oppose that powerful current. They were watching their brothers and sisters convert and watching Christ and others be consecrated in place of their worshipful Śrī Kṛṣṇa or Śrī Shiva. Even as they watched Christian churches and other foreign religious establishments crop up next to their Hindu temples in sacred places like Varanasi, Rameshwar, etc., Hindus were not able to do anything to defend themselves or their religion. Hindus were passing their time rather comfortably, relying on the unseen for everything, like modern-day philosophers who have no skills or capabilities. However, in time, in the ocean of hopelessness, a wave of religious revival appeared, and several incarnation-like personalities arrived to protect Hindu religion from the jaws of destruction. In this age, too, as in ancient times, several selfless spiritual saints incarnated among the Hindus to help reform the everlasting Hindu religion. Among them, the editor of this Harmonist magazine, Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, has, without a doubt, and by unanimous agreement, achieved such an exalted and lofty position that it will remain the standard of every pure devotee's highest ambition for all time. Today, Srimad Saraswati Goswami Maharaj is the only luminous acharya in the Vaishnava world. If someone asks him who can be called a Vaishnava, then I assume he would point out this verse about the identity of Vaishnavas. Naham vipro nacha narapatir napi vaishyana shudro naham varani nacha griyapatir nova nasto yatir vakintu prodyan nikila paramananda purnam ritabdher gopi bhartu padakamla dasan dasa. I haven't provided a translation for this, but I think we're all familiar with it. The foremost of Mahaprabhu Śrī Kṛṣṇa Caitanya's devotees, Śrīmad Bhaktivinoda Thakur, was truly the vast ocean of bhakti and prem. The Harmonist magazine he founded was filled with many highly scholarly and well-researched articles about pure bhakti dharma, and has today manifested as an ocean of bhakti scripture. So the Harmonist itself is an ocean of bhakti scripture, Bhakti Shastra Sindhu. We have obtained issues 1 to 5 of the Harmonist's 25th volume. These issues contain the sequential reiteration of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions, a discussion of Śrīmad Bhaktivinoda Thakur's pastimes, the history of Bhagavan Śrī Kṛṣṇa's appearance, and many articles like this that are so pleasant to read and so very informative. If every Hindu will study all these articles with careful attention, they will achieve the elevation of their own souls and contribute to the elevation of the souls of all Indians, who will all be greatly benefited. Under the direction of a South Indian youth, one Shriyut M.S.G. Iyer, this magazine is published regularly and on schedule, and the magazine's quality and beautiful presentation is so charming that it conveys his great expertise. The yearly cost of the magazine is only 3.5 rupees, and a sample copy is only 5/16 annas. I don't quite understand the anna system. The magazine's printing and layout is exquisite. Several pages of each issue are allotted for Sanskrit articles. The name of this section is Sajantoshini. The articles on Brahman status by virtue, Vaishnav tenets, Dashmul Shiksha, Srimad Madhvacharya, etc., convey great scholarship. These are very valuable and worth studying because it is doubtful that such well-rounded discussion of such profound subjects is seen anywhere else. Our only prayer is that this magazine stays manifest in the glory of its grand purpose of establishing Vaishnav Dharma as the one universal religion in India. That's a nice review of the Harmonist and glorification.
The Harmonist was monthly?
Did it say it was monthly?
I can't remember.
Yeah. No, it's published regularly. It didn't say it's monthly. A submitted letter. This is the statement of a Navadvip resident who is enamored with the excellence of Nadīyā Prakāśa. Though I have been one of the supporters of the group that opposes Mayapur, today I have become truly enamored with the excellence of Nadīyā Prakāśa and have become compelled to speak the truth. I am not being compelled by anyone or speaking to flatter anyone. The peaceful and soothing attitude of these people, their natural, simple inclination to serve Hari, their amicable behavior, their profound attachment to the actual truth, and their fearlessness is truly praiseworthy and honorable. However, alas, by my great misfortune, as a supporter of those who were opposing bhakti, I have been clueless to the truth and created who knows how much inauspiciousness for myself. Any joy I may have felt while living with the Navadvip city bhakti antagonists for a whole lifetime is not equal to even 1/1,000,000th of the joy I feel when I look at these devotees just once. What is the reason for this? Oh, Navadvip resident friends, can you give me a proper answer to this? It seems you will not be able to answer this. Why? Because there is no trace of simplicity in a heart that is full of envy. Oh, my friends, do not be angry with me. Focusing on dharma, keeping faith in truth, it is with great sadness that I have had to say all this today. I have not given my name even now because I am very much afraid of being mistreated among a group of people who all cling to a certain shared belief. A day will come when the residents of Kulia Navadvip will pride themselves in supporting Sri Mayapur. I am awaiting that day. Iti, a resident of Kulia or Navadvip city. Strong words. Editor's note. So this is from Srila Bhakti-Pramod Puri Maharaj. What one gentleman inhabitant of Navadip city wrote after reading Nadīyā Prakāśa has been published for the awareness of the general public. Several other letters like this have come to us from Navadip city. Some of those letters had some very harsh things to say about Nadīyā city residents. We knew that these remarks would not be pleasant for the general public to read, so we have not published them. But the fact that they are striving to honor the truth despite living amid a variety of impediments to doing so is so remarkable that we are delightedly praising them as if we had 100 mouths each. We also wish to convey to them that if we rely on God, then all obstacles will automatically be eradicated. Remember the tale of Prahlad. In order to protect the devotees, Nrsimhadev always manifests his terrifying form and rouses fear in the hearts of antagonists. Nadīyā Prakāśa, editor. And now this is the continuation of Śrī Kṛṣṇa Caitanya, Post-sannyāsa pastimes. See previously published article entitled Śrī Mayapur Purna Chandrodaya. So it's a continuation of the Purna Chandrodaya series. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was then present in the Sri Mandir. So last we read how Mahaprabhu had his danda broken by Nityananda Prabhu, and then he set off on his own towards Puri and collapsed in front of Lord Jagannath. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was then present in the Sri Mandir. Luckily, he saw Mahaprabhu and saved him from the hands of the temple guards. Sarvabhauma was utterly taken aback to witness Mahaprabhu's wondrous transformations of prem. And when he saw that it was taking Mahaprabhu a long time to come back to external awareness, he had the Lord carried to his home. Sarvabhauma's brother-in-law, Sri Gopinath Acharya, knew Sri Mukunda from before and had met with him that day. So he had heard all about Srimad Mahaprabhu's pastime of accepting sannyas and his arrival in Nilachal. The rumors of Mahaprabhu's display of Mahabhav had spread rapidly, and so the devotees all went to Sarvabhauma's house. So Mahaprabhu went ahead, he collapsed in the temple. Then Mukunda, Nityananda, others came, met Gopinath Acharya and found out he was in Sarvabhauma's house. Everyone who was with Sri Nityananda Prabhu arrived with Sarvabhauma's son, Chandaneshwar, after taking darshan of Sri Jagannath. In the afternoon, Mahaprabhu came back to external consciousness. When Sarvabhauma was introduced to Mahaprabhu, he gave the Lord a place to stay in his aunt's home. When Sarvabhauma's brother-in-law, Sri Gopinath Acharya, asserted that Mahaprabhu was God himself, Sarvabhauma and his disciples had an extensive debate with Gopinath Acharya. Knowledge of the Supreme Lord can never be known, and worldly scholarship cannot produce comprehension of God. Sri Gopinath Acharya explained all this at length to Sarvabhauma. When Sarvabhauma met with Mahaprabhu, however, he took Mahaprabhu to be an ordinary mortal sannyasi and told him that he should listen to Vedanta. Mahaprabhu agreed and heard Vedanta silently for 7 days in a row from Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. By the 8th day, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, who had noticed that Mahaprabhu had been completely silent for 7 whole days, asked him the reason for his silence, to which the Lord replied that he could understand the sutras of Vyas very well, but the commentary written by Shankar had obscured the simple, immaculate meaning of the Brahma Sutras. Shankar's commentary is in reality opposed to Vedanta and conjured in order to bewilder those of demoniac nature. The doctrine of Vedanta is achintya bedha bhed. Mayavadis are covert atheists. This Mahaprabhu explained to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya with many scriptural deliberations. Bhattacharya was eventually defeated after extensive debate and deliberation. Then Bhattacharya wanted to hear the explanation of the Atmaramascha verse from Mahaprabhu. So it was to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya that Mahaprabhu first explained this verse. Sarvabhauma employed his scholarly prowess in the Tarka scriptures and offered 9 different explanations of the aforementioned verse. Mahaprabhu did not touch even one of Sarvabhauma's explanations and explained this verse in 18 entirely different ways. Bhattacharya was astounded by this and also distressed at his folly of pride. He sought the shelter of Mahaprabhu's lotus feet. Mahaprabhu was pleased with Sarvabhauma and displayed to him first a four-armed form and then a two-armed form. By the Lord's mercy, Tattva, the truth manifested in Sarvabhauma's heart, and in a moment he composed 100 verses praising Mahaprabhu. Seeing the Lord's extraordinary mercy towards Sarvabhauma, Gopinath and others were delighted. After this, one day, in the reddish dawn, the Lord came to Bhattacharya to give him some of Jagannath's Pakal Prasad, slightly fermented watery rice with yogurt and or some light spicing. I had to research that quite a bit. And found some Uriya Vaishnav describing what it was.
No, we had that all the time in the Poḍā Mā.
In the Poḍā Mā? Oh, okay. By the Lord's grace, Bhattacharya had been totally liberated from the strictures of mundane orthodox ritualism and honored the Mahaprasad the Lord gave him before he had even performed any of his morning rites. So if someone comes to you early in the morning before you've done your tilak and your anik, you just eat it. Another day, what were you going to say?
Nothing. It was just on the other thing, on the pakala, the water from that is called Tankotorani. And there's a whole Odia song about it. I remember once Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhu, who's now Poḍā Mā, he's singing. It's like Tankotorani.
They have a song about it. That's great. Another day, Bhattacharya sincerely inquired from Mahaprabhu what the greatest form of sadhan was. So Prabhu instructed Sarvabhauma in Nam Sankirtan. Another day, when Sarvabhauma was reciting the Tatte Nukampam verse, he changed the word Muktipade, one of the last words of the verse, to Bhaktipade. But Mahaprabhu told him that there was no need to change the words of Srimad Bhagavatam. The word Muktipada refers to Krishna. When the inhabitants of Nilachal saw Bhattacharya's Vaishnav transformation, they could understand that Mahaprabhu was Krishna himself, and that Kashi Mishra and others surrendered at Mahaprabhu's lotus feet. I love this this last little pastime about him switching the word Muktipade to Bhaktipade. It's like even Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, even Brihaspati himself, when he meets Mahaprabhu and becomes converted, he has this overzealous, over-enthusiasm where he starts, okay, no Mukti, Bhaktipade. And Mahaprabhu has to calm him down and say, no, don't change the words of Bhagavatam. Makes it relatable. And now for the news section. First, the local Nadia news, because this is the only newspaper in circulation in Nadia. Baradol. For 3 days from this upcoming 19th of Caitra, April 1st, a Sunday, there will be a huge festival of Baradol at the Royal Palace in Krishnanagar. This festival is a special function in this region. Hundreds and thousands of visitors come from far-off regions to see this festival. Have you heard about this, Madhukar? Is this? No? On one hand, many devotionally minded individuals come to have darshan of the deities of 12 different temples assembling and ascending the swing altars. On the other hand, many people come to shop and see various performances. Every year, Krishnanagar's noble king always makes all arrangements for visitors at the festival site so that no one experiences any inconvenience. The deities stay on the swings for 3 days and, on the night of Trayodashi, descend from there. The days in the middle of this period are very crowded. The festival provides a great opportunity to shop for all manner of items. Every evening after dusk at Sri Mayapur Śrī Caitanya Math, Pandit Shriyukta Kalivairi Vedanta Bhushan Mahoday is giving class on Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, and Sri Bhakti Vigraha Prabhu is doing kirtan. You are all invited. Bhuvaneshwar news. Bhuvaneshwar is a very revitalizing place and holy site for Hindus. This 17th of Chaitra, March 30th, on the day of Ashoka Ashtami, will be the Rath Yatra of Sri Bhuvaneshwar Dev. Like the Rath Yatra of Sri Jagannath Dev in Puri, here Bhuvaneshwar has a Rath Yatra on the Ashoka Ashtami day of Caitra. Sri Bhuvaneshwar's worshipful Vijay Vigraha, parade deity, Sri Ananta Vasudev ascends the chariot. On this occasion, many people congregate here. Have you ever heard of this, Ananta Vasudev's Rath Yatra? No,
No, I haven't. I wonder,
Rath
Manjari, she's there. She's watching on because she spent some time in Bhubaneswar. Maybe she can know. Anyways.
Bhuvaneshwar's Rath Yatra is, like Puri Rath Yatra, a special sight to see. There is a kund in Bhuvaneshwar called Maricha Kund. The legend is that if any barren woman takes bath in this kund on Ashoka Ashtami and drinks the water of this kund, she will surely conceive. Every year on this day, from early in the morning and all throughout the day, almost 10,000 women come to bathe in this kund. Nana Katha, various topics. As of April 1st, 1928, the number 1 up J and number 2 down J trains are respectively leaving Dhanbad at 2:20 and arriving in Dhanbad at 4:50. The train that was running between Dhanbad and Pathardihi has been discontinued. Rumor has it that the street sweepers have heard that the corporation may not fulfill the promise of wage increases given by the mayor of Calcutta Corporation, so they are preparing for another strike. On the night of March 19th, the slum king of Kashi died of cancer. He had been frequenting Ranchi's Radium Institute for treatment. He was on his way back to Kashi from there. I guess there was a slum king of Kashi.
Like what's a slum like
a mafia boss of the slum or something? I don't know.
Interesting.
The leader of the Patua Kali activism, Shriyukta Satindranath Sen, has gone on a hunger strike for a week in presidency jail. Shriyukta Saral Kumar Datta, a member of the Legislative Council, has met with him and said he is fine. Since March 16th, the cook at City College has been charging each student 8 annas for meals because the college has been closed. Last Tuesday, the hotel inspector issued a mandate that students were to leave the hostel by 12 noon. Despite the great inconvenience, the students vacated the hostel by 9 at night under compulsion. Some have sought shelter in the hostel of another college, and the remaining students have rented a house on Amherst Street. Reports are that the hostel superintendent, Brajasundar Rai, and assistant superintendent, Kalimohan Ghoshal, will be living at the hostel free of charge, and the chef and others and servants will remain to tend to them. Doesn't seem very fair. This past year of 1926-1927, there was such a huge crop of jute that the prices of raw jute dropped for the next year. 1927 to 28, which puts farmers, or for the next year, 1928, which puts farmers in a bad position. Shriyukta Subhash Chandra Bose Mahaday is there cautioning the farmers of Bengal that if they want to save themselves, they should reduce crops of jute, or famine will be inevitable. So, okay, they're producing too much jute, and the prices are dropping, and then they're not making enough money to support their families, I guess.
They probably have a lot of work to do for not so much.
Yeah. So this upcoming March 31st, the members of the Simon Commission will be returning to their countries from Bombay. In Shyampukur, Ramchandra Maitra Lane, a boy named Narendra had a fight with his parents regarding food and was so upset that he drank acid and committed suicide. His corpse has been sent to the coroners. Some of these really shocking stories, and they don't give much explanation. It's just kind of really disturbing. Some days ago, on February 3rd, when the students were absent, the headmaster of Barasol District School issued a notice that the current month's admission will not be accepted if students do not pay a fine equal to admission cost. To this, the students' guardians have contested the headmaster's order and sent a letter in this regard that reads, "The students are young. If we want, we can just not send them to school. There can be no offense in this on the student's part. If an application for leave is not accepted, even if parents have given good reason, then according to the educational department's rules, the fine cannot be more than 1 anna per day. We will pay that and send the kids to school. Please accept that. If you do not, then you can inform your superiors about this matter, and whatever answer they give, you can kindly arrange to convey to us. If you pressure the kids in private to pay the fine, then we will take the aid of a lawsuit and determine whether your order is lawful or not." Parents versus teachers. She Hugo Stein, daughter, Fräulein Clarenor Stein. I did look this up. This is the correct spelling of their names, but I don't know how to pronounce them. Has arrived in Peking, that's China, I believe, from Berlin in a 6-cylinder sedan car. She left Berlin last May with one Mr. Sebastian, who is a bioscope photographer. I think it's a special type of camera, and 4 mechanics, and drove through the Balkans, Turkey, Syria, Iran, Caucasia, Russia, Serbia, Mongolia, and arrived in China. There's these stories of these really adventurous women flying over the Atlantic, flying to South Africa, driving across Eurasia. In Lake Baikal, that's this huge lake in Russia, because snowfall had started, they were stranded in Irkutsk for 6 months. Once the ice froze solid over Lake Baikal, they crossed the lake by car, driving at about 25 miles an hour. So it freezes solid in the winter, and they drove across it. In Mongolia, a dacoit gang had cut a ditch into the road, into which Srimati Stein's car got stuck. With great difficulty, they got the car out of the ditch and narrowly escaped the dacoits. The group wants to go to America via Japan. This sounds like movie material, if you ask me. Like Hollywood should pick
Seriously.
it up next year.
Oh my God, that's exciting.
In order to establish trade with Europe, the Afghan government has selected the Efars port, Chabahar port. Last Monday, students of Scottish Church College held a meeting in which they requested the principal to withdraw his order to expel Shachindranath Mitra. The principal has not given them any response. Last Tuesday, none of the students attended the college. Only 2 students may have gone, one of whom is the nephew of one of the teachers. There was talk of holding another meeting last Wednesday. Principal Mr. J. Watts has submitted the following announcement for publication in the newspaper. 1. The college will remain closed until March 27. 2. All students who participated in the strike on March 20th of their own will must write a letter to the principal asking for forgiveness. Those who do not attend college on March 20th due to fear or any other reason will have to provide a satisfactory explanation as well by this date. All students who disregard this notice will not be given class examinations and will have to obtain a transfer certificate by April 5th. The certificate will read, "They did not attend college on March 20th on the day of the strike. They have not provided satisfactory explanation for their absence and/or have not asked for pardon. If they do not obtain a certificate before April 5th, they will be expelled from the college." 4. Class examinations will be held on the previously announced date. Only those who have been present at the college at the 20th or 26th of March, or who have provided a satisfactory explanation or asked for pardon by March 26th, will be able to take the exam. All first and third year students, 5. All first and third year students who receive assistance from the college must meet with the principal on March 26th in the college and explain their absence on March 20th. Otherwise, their financial aid will be stopped and they will be reported to the director for the Department of Education. And this is all because the students were doing Saraswati Puja in their dormitory.
My God, really harsh. That was the school that Srila Prabhupada went to also,
Yeah.
right? The Scottish
Yeah. And I think this is part of why he didn't accept his degree. He was about to receive his degree, and he forwent it, forsake it. Justice Chosner will leave his post this upcoming July 5th. The king has appointed Śrīvāsa Satyendra Chandra Malik as Calcutta's High Court judge in his place. On March 19th in the afternoon, the emir will go by submarine to Southampton. So this is the king of Afghanistan, Amanullah Khan. Others will go by boat. Plans are to see the battleship Majestic there, and then go to Bournemouth. In Bournemouth, the party will dine and spend the night. There is a lawsuit going on between two lawyers regarding the closure of the Faridpur Bar Library on the occasion of the strike. Session Judge Mr. Hill has tried to reconcile the matter between them with no success. The hearing is set for March 20th. The Bihar government has set aside 16,106 taka in the present budget to cover the expenses of white sergeants and sergeant majors to visit their homeland and return to India. The Swaraj party moved to deny this allotment of funds, but their proposal was not accepted because they received only 34 votes in their favor and 45 against. Recently, due to the diligent efforts and investigation of the Bengal Congress Committee, a mutual resolution has been reached regarding the riot that broke out in Rishra, the secondary cause of which was the playing of music in front of the Jama Masjid, and the primary cause of which was the demand for a holiday on the occasion of Holi. The riot had left 28 Hindus and 6 Muslims injured. Both sides have agreed to several conditions. There will never be any music played in front of the Jama Masjid. In front of the other 3 mosques, music will be stopped only during namaz time. 3, no matter how close their homes may be to the mosque, Hindus will be able to play music in their homes. 4, whether or not a holiday will be given on the occasion of Holi is up to the manager. 5, both sides will have to pay for the treatment of everyone who is receiving treatment in the hospital at the time of the riot. Seems fair. You start a riot, you should pay for whoever got hurt. Madras News, March 20th, reports that many mendicants were gathered on a rooftop in front of a home on the day of Ramadan to accept bhiksha, partake of a meal, when the roof suddenly collapsed, and many people who were on the roof and the road in front at the time were injured. Investigation has revealed that 16 people were gravely injured and 25 somewhat less injured. The strike in Lilua has still not calmed. Instead, lo and behold, 500 people of the Howrah Stores Department stopped work as of Tuesday. It seems their strike is in support of the Lilua laborers. The laborers are not creating disturbances anywhere. On March 19th, in the middle of the night in Madras, at the home of a Muslim named Abdullah Sayyad, on the occasion of the holy day of Ramadan, there was a rush of about 3,000 or 4,000 mendicants trying to receive donations of food and cloth. 8 elderly women and 1 girl was stampeded to death in the crowd. Upon receiving this news, Mr. Ramanuja Iyer arrived on the scene with several constables and cleared the crowd. Another 2 women have been injured and were sent to hospital. Last Tuesday, at the Calcutta University Institute, the statue of Natora King Jagadendranath Rai was unveiled. Sri Prafulanath Thakur gave a lengthy talk on the Maharaja's life and character during the unveiling of this statue. The current king of Natora, Maharaj Yogendranath Rai, Sri Yatindranath Basu, High Court Judge Manmatanath Mukhopadhyay, Dr. S.K. Basu, Sri Mrityunjay Chattopadhyay, and other distinguished individuals were present at the assembly. There have been fires in many places in Madras. In Trichinapalli, near Lalandadi, 75 small homes of the indigenous Dravidians were burnt. And last Friday, in Bhijiana village, many hundreds of thatch roof leaf cottages were burnt, and 1 cow and 1 elderly woman perished in the fire. Last Tuesday, around 3 in the afternoon, in the slum in front of the Calcutta Timber Corporation, animal shelter, a fire broke out and almost 30 homes were burnt. 4 fire engines arrived and could not put out the fire till 6 in the evening. That same night, around 9 p.m., a fire broke out in a haystack in Dum Dum. The extent of the damage is not yet known. Yeah, so this was a very tough time in India. People were struggling to feed themselves. There was lack of rain. There was epidemics. I just translated an article, like really painting the picture, like what was going on. Pretty intense time. Well, that is it for today. Thank you for joining us.
How many articles ahead are you?
I am on 50, so maybe like 30 ahead, 30 issues ahead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
29.
well, okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll just do a short Maha Mantra and then we will end for today. Sorry, I'm just trying to think of a melody. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol. You'd like to do Jaidwani?
Jai Shri Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhare Shri Radha Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Shri Radha Vinobhare Radha Ramana Bihari Ju Ki Jai. Jai Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra Ju Ki Jai, Rath Yatra Ki Jai. Jai Nitya Leela Prabhishtam Vishnupad Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitya Leela Prabhishtam Vishnupad Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitya Leela Prabhishtam Vishnupad Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Trivikram Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitya Leela Prabhishtam Vishnupad Shri Srimad Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitya Leela Prabhishtam Vishnupad Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitya Leela Prabhishtam Vishnupad Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nitya Leela Prabhishtam Vishnupad Shri Srimad Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Saparshad Jaguru Shila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Mahabhagwat Prabhu Shri Gaur Kishodas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Saptam Goswami Satchidananda Shila Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannathas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Gaudiya Vedanta Judge Shri Baldev Vidyabhushan Prabhu ki jai, Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur ki jai, Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu Tray ki jai, Śrī Kṛṣṇa Das Kaviraj Goswami Prabhu ki jai, Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai, Shri Rup Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Shari Goswami Prabhu ki jai, Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai, Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai, प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, श्री नवदीप मायापुर धाम की जय, श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपी गो गोवर्धन द्वादश मनाको श्री ब्रजमंडल धाम की जय, राधा कुंज श्याम कुंज यमुना गंगा भक्ति तुलसी देवी की जय, सर्वाभिष्ट प्रदाता श्री गिरिराज महाराज की जय, भक्ति विघ्न विनाशंकारी श्री नृसिंह भगवान की जय, भक्त प्रभु श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की जय, श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्र सुदर्शन चक्र जू की जय, श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय, जय चारि धाम चारि आचार्य चारि संप्रदाय की जय, आकर मठ राशि चैतन्य मठ की जय, श्री दैनिक नदिया प्रकाश की जय, त्रिभुवन मंगल हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय, ग्रंथ राज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, समागत ऑनलाइन भक्त वृंद की जय, श्रीताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। And vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuvaiva cha patidanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaः. One quick announcement before we go. I'm putting out a unique video offering today. It's based on a article by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur called Kirtan Vigyan, the Science in Kirtan. There's some very interesting scientific observations that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur makes, and it's been done with AI and different things. So I'll be releasing it on Facebook, YouTube, and on my website later today.
You released something before. Is this more complete, or you redid it? Or
I didn't. I only sent you a preview of it. I didn't actually release it.
oh,
so
okay.
finished editing it and stuff.
Oh, exciting.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Madhukar Prabhu.
Wait, just tell us a little bit. Is it like it shows the combination? Like you can explain a little bit like how it's kirtan and science. How, like what is this?
Well, I'm curious. Actually, I'd like to have discussions with people after they see the video, because when it was first published by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he kind of leaves it at a cliffhanger. He talks about gravity, the force of gravity. He talks about how we keep the spine straight when we're doing yoga by having this straight posture and allowing the force of gravity to flow from top to bottom. Then he talks about atoms, talks about, the protons and the electrons and the positive charge and the negative charge, and how this is binding everything together, how this is actually creating the Earth's gravitational force. He actually also says that the Earth orbits around the sun, right? So there's a bunch of devotees who believe the Earth is flat and that the science is lying to us and that the Bhagavatam is talking about a flat Earth, but this is not actually Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's conception. Surya Siddhanta is full of calculations of angular momentum, two hemispheres, a globular planet. Vishnu Shakti Thakur's commentaries in Bhagavatam also talk about a bhugola. Anyways, so I'm hoping this will
stimulate. This is gonna spark a whole huge, massive thing.
I hope it does.
Yeah.
But what's amazing is that he towards the end of it, he then says that he gives this example that if you smash two stones together and creating sparks, and you did it so much that the two stones were totally disintegrated, what would you understand? That the atoms were being released from the stones, right? There's this process of ionization through this friction percussion that creates the fire, and so it's releasing this energy. And then he says, but what if those stones were to be reconstituted, if the vibrations were to be like drawn together again and everything would be reconstituted. And he leaves it at that. So after meditating on this for a long time, it's what I can understand is that he's talking about the Shabda Brahm Pranav that interacts with the Tamas Ahamkar, right, and creates the material elements. And that the Shabda Brahm, therefore Shabda Brahm is the basis of even our physical reality, right? And so doing Nam Sankirtan is not only is it promoting, people coming together and dispelling the conflict and divisive energies of Kali, it's actually, it does that even on a physical level. He's just kind of giving that hint, that implication that this is the vibration that ties everything together. We can't understand it though with our material minds, or we're not ready to understand it. I think actually maybe now science has gotten to a point we're ready to look at this deeper. And a lot of people are looking at the power of frequency and healing diseases with frequencies and things like that.
So that's pretty much Tesla's science and discovery. Einstein said, if you want to know a genius, that's Tesla. And he said that the universe is constituted of sound, vibration and sound, something like that. And so it all boils down to sound. Our jobs, that's really amazing field. And like you said, I mean, science is lagging perhaps a little behind, but they're kind of figuring it out in sound. Whatever discoveries are done through a friend of mine, Keshava Prabhu, he was in the army, is that there's all kinds of even weapons to disperse riots and like that, based on sound. If the frequency is low enough, everybody's going to get sick. They're not going to want to go near the spot where that's happening. So, sound is sound vibration and the difference between it. I just saw last night Nam Ras podcast with actually Prem Prayojana Prabhu. And he gave fantastic explanation. I was just thinking of you, Malkar Prabhu, when you talked about this, what is it, Gaudiya Ras, or the book that is a lecture by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur.
Gaudiya Darshan.
Gaudiya Darshan. But interesting, he explains very well. I mean, precise with Praman, about sound vibration and like that. It's interesting. The other thing is, I know what I took note of what you were saying, how, there's devotees, this discussion about where the earth is flat or not, and like that. But, as far as I know, Prabhupada indicated in a few lectures like that, indicated it was a globe. And now, but an interesting factor is that in talking to astrologers, they tell me that it doesn't really matter if the earth is going around the sun or the sun's going around the earth for their calculations. I thought that was kind of interesting. I'd like to find out more.
Interesting.
Oh, by the way, Peking. I'm sorry, Hare Krishna. Peking was the name of the capital of China. Now it's called Peking, and now it's called Beijing.
Oh, that's Beijing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you.
So I was thinking that in the Hare Krishna, I was thinking that in the Canto 5 of Srimad Bhagavatam, it's mentioned that the Bhu Mandala is flat. Okay, and the Bhu which we are talking about is the Bharat Varsha, and then the Bharat Khanda. So then the Bharat Khanda, which is what we are now referring to as the globe, which is round, which is Bhugol, which is connected to the Bhumandala. So, like for example, when even till date, why don't the aeroplanes fly from the South Pole? Like they could go, they don't. They only go North Pole. They can go, but South Pole, because the South Pole is where it's actually attached to the Bhumandala. It's not. It is not. It is not able to. We are not allowed to go into the other realms of the Bhumandala, which are nothing but Bhu Swarga. Actually, they are all the heavenly planets of the Bhumandala. So we are not allowed to go there. So that's why we are unable to reach the end of the South Pole and go through
Yeah,
that.
there's some very strange things about the South Pole. It's definitely interesting and ongoing subject for discussion. Yeah, thank you for that, sharing that.
So that's true. There's planes of planets, or since we are, but Bhumandala differentiate between the planet and the plane.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting discussions to be had around this subject, and ultimately, I think some people are scared that this means that if we don't, take the literal meaning of a translation of Bhagavatam, then we're somehow going against Bhagavatam. But if you look at the writings of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, if we go with their guidance, and there's Prem Pirojam Prabhu must have talked about this, the Vidvat Rudi interpretation, the interpretation of intelligent personalities under the guidance of Shastra. And then there's the Agya Rudi. So even if we want to be just devoted to Bhagavatam, if we're just taking the literal translation from Bhagavatam, we might be just taking the Agya Rudi Vritti.
Right.
So, it might be deeper discussion to have on this, but this might piss off certain.
And also the diameter of the Bhumandala is like completely the same as the diameter of our universe, you see. So it's like reaching the edges of the universe. So how can it go around the sun? It's not possible. The Bhumandala is flat.
Is it a plane? Is it the plane that the planets are all rotating on? I've played with this also. If you change the units, because there's all this debate on how long a yojana actually is, and then also the definition of koti is. Koti could be 1,000,000 or it could be 1,000,000,000. And a yojana, the debates go from somewhere between 5 miles to 15 or 16 miles. And then it might
be 8 miles.
That's 8 miles.
8 miles.
But it might. But then I've seen quotes also that a yojana it's depending. The yojana is depending on the object that you're measuring. So according to the object you're measuring, the yojana could be a completely different unit of measurement. So there's a lot of complexities to all this that need to be laid out.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll have discussions of that. I don't want to take too long.
This could go for our lifetimes.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Madhukar Prabhu.
Yes. Oh, and I always end with this. All the articles that we read, you can find it on nadiyaprakāsh.com, NADIYAPRAKASH.com. And also go to Śrīvāsa's website, bigdrum.us, and subscribe so that you don't miss any of the new articles and any things that he's posting, translating and all that. All right. Haribol. See you all next time. Anybody who's joining our Bhaktivinoda Kiti Dhara program, tomorrow we're going to be going over the song Tumi to Moribe Jare.